Hey guys, welcome back to Pro Row 784. Today's vlog is going to be in the shop by myself today, and it's going to be about my race car here. So going to go try to race this thing this Saturday night at Auburndale Speedway. Little quarter-mile asphalt track, front-wheel drive Dodge Daytona. 1986 is what it started out to be, and basically it's a full-frame race car, just a few components of the 1986 Dodge Daytona. But if you guys have been watching our videos, the last time I raced this thing, and I haven't done much with it because we've been busy with Brandon, but they P&G'd the engine in tech area, and we put it all back together and put it in the trailer and brought it home, and I've washed it and cleaned it up and merely just backed it in here, and it's been sitting right here. Okay, so I want to go through everything that we touched the other day after tech, just to make sure everything's tight. Maybe move the valve cover, look at all that stuff, put it all back together, and then I'm going to call it good. The other thing, I have bought these stands here. I've not utilized them much yet, just basically set the race car up underneath there, but I've been wanting a set of those for a long time. It raises the car up about 10 inches. And then that way I can slide up underneath it, and I can measure different points and such, and really going to come in handy today, because today I'm gonna listen to me. This starter, so I wanted to replace the starter. So as you guys watched when we did our P&G test the other day, we ended up having it. Normally you only pull one spark plug out, and then the tech guy puts this little tube in there and it pumps up and that kind of stuff. But I felt like the battery was dead after the race the other day, and it would barely turn over. And it would turn over enough to start it, but it's just, you know, high compression motor, just barely enough to turn it over. So I thought it was a battery, got it back here and did a little bit of diagnosing. Don't think it's the battery. So I thought it was maybe the starter. So I'm going to change the starter out. Heaven knows how long it's been since I changed this. So anyway, I pulled this joker off last week and been trying to find a new one, and I can't find one. This thing's a 1986 Dodge Daytona, and evidently this particular one here is a little bit hard to find. There is some numbers here. This is a Bosch, and so even Napa and Advanced Auto Parts is where we have, you know, our store through, basically our Victor Golf Cart store. So we have an account there. So two really good people, that parts people, and couldn't find it. So anyway, the other thing I want to do is I want to replace this cable here. So this is a cable here that runs from the starter back to the solenoid. So I want to replace that. Been wanting to replace that for a while. So going to get that done, and then we're going to check over everything. So that's what today's video is going to be about. That one almost requires a wrench there until I get it started. All right, so I got the starter up in there now, and I've got to get up underneath here. I'm gonna crawl up underneath the race car. The solenoid is right there. I've got it mounted on the back of the firewall there. So I've got to run that new cable that I just put on there to that solenoid there. I'm gonna try to take you guys with me. So I got that cable on there. I don't know if you guys can see this, but anyway, that cable is a little bit too long. It attaches right there. Anyway, I don't really like that it's long, but I think it'll work. It's just barely a cable for the starter solenoid, so I think I'm good. So we'll get up underneath here. All right, get a little blood to my head. I was laying up underneath that darn thing, and but But anyway, starter's on, that green wire. I wish it was a little bit shorter. I got that from the golf cart shop there. I wish it was a little bit shorter, but I just estimated and guessed. And but anyway, it'll work. I wrapped it up there. I think it's going to work from that zip tie. So we're gonna see if this thing will turn over. The one thing that I really wish I had on this darn thing, and I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to put me like a starter button here, or either a starter button over here. Instead of me having to run around here every single time and reach inside this darn door here, this is where all my switches is. But anyway, this is my starter button here. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, okay, a lot better. So I don't want to start it yet, but anyway, after the race the other day, that thing just didn't want to start. So I bet it was that other starter. So this is another used one. This is not a new one. This is another used one that I had over there on the other side in all my stash. So I want to replace it, you know, eventually. But this is the one that I had on there that I raced the other day. And it looks the same as the one that's on there, but I was just wanting to repair or replace it with a new one. And that's the one that I had a hard time finding. So I got the Napa guy. He's running me one down. We're just going to be out of time for this weekend's race. So decided I'd go over there and grab the other one, which is another old one, and fit it on there and give it a shot. So I think it's going to work out right. So, all right, I'm going to grab my toolbox, bring it over here. We're going to pull this valve cover off. We're going to try to just make sure all that stuff's like it's supposed to be and ready to go race. Golly, I can't see nothing. Pretty much sucks getting old, you know what I mean? You got to have glasses to do everything. All right, so I think I've got everything here. I think I've got everything pretty much done here. We had the spark plugs out. I just made sure all they were tight, make sure they were indexed like they're supposed to be. Plug wires are all on there. Valve cover, removed it, everything looked good in there, put it back on, tighten up all the valve cover bolts. We had these hoses here off there, had this off there. So I think we're pretty good. I think that's all we're after here. So hey, listen, it's no different on this thing as it is an ATV. You know, James and I, James Reeves at Santo DeRisi's on Brandon's four-wheeler, every Saturday morning before the race, we grab several wrenches and go and he get, we just go around the four-wheeler and just make sure everything's tight on it. So no different than this thing here. This thing's a race vehicle, also obviously a race car, and things vibrate really bad. So just making sure, checking everything and all that. So I think I'm pretty much done with that. Now there is a couple of things I want to change. So if you guys watched my race video, the car was running really well. I thought the car was very competitive, but we had a caution there about 7 laps or 9 laps? I can't remember what it was, to the end there. And I lined up on the outside there of the leader and got the green flag, and this thing was junk. I mean, I'm talking about a night and day different race car from what it was like literally 5 minutes ago. So what I think what happened is when we slowed down and did those caution laps, waited on them to clean up that accident and all that stuff, I just think I think everything was really hot. Obviously the tires were hot, but I think the rotors, the hubs, that kind of stuff was really hot, and obviously the engine bay was really hot. Now this is a huge opening here to let some of that out of there, but I honestly think it added tremendous heat to the front tires, and this thing just would not turn whatsoever. So I'm going to try to fix that. And that's what I've been thinking of, how I want to try to fix that. And obviously I want to change the setup on this thing, so, and that's what I'm going to do. So we run a high amount of cross weight in the car, and it's a front wheel drive and all that. So we're going to change some of that. I'm going to go a couple points higher on that, because what happened was I think the car was just going into the corner and it was just dipping so hard. The other thing, the reason why I think that is, or the reason why I know that, is because my travels on my shocks, I've got these little zip ties, to be honest with you, just little Mickey Mouse things. And as the car goes through travel, I always try to adjust them before I go down the racetrack. As they go through travel, I know what's travel. and it was really dipping really hard on the right front. So and I don't want that, especially on front wheel drive. The problem is the engine is in front of the front tires. You see how that engine is in front? So there's a lot of weight in front of the front tires, and it being a front wheel drive, so the front end is extremely important. So I think what's happened is I think the car was just going through the center of the corner, and it was just dipping really hard. The other thing is, I watched the race video back, and there toward the end also, I had made a move to avoid a 3 wide situation, and I locked the brakes up, and the left rear tire skidded. So that tells me that I'm sort of like tricycling. You know, I'm exaggerating, but that's what's happening, and it's tricycling through the corner, and which is telling me there's a tremendous amount of load on the right front tire, and I don't want that. Now there's going to be a lot of load on the right front tire just because of what we're doing here. Okay, we understand that, but I don't want to add that by taking cross weight out of it and making it almost like it's a teeter-totter on 2 tires. We don't want that either. So there's a balancing act there that we're trying to achieve. Okay, and that's just getting in the corner, getting through the center, and then getting off is a whole different ball game. So there's 3 sets of the corner. There's getting into the corner, there's through the center of the apex corner, and then there's on the exit of the corner. So there's 3 things we're working at. But anyway, I want to work on trying to get in and through the center. Coming off, it seemed like it was okay. Seemed like it was turning okay, but I want to work on that. And I really honestly think that's what's happening. So I can also increase the right front spring. Don't want to really do that. I think I'm just going to go up on the crossweight a little bit and go from there. So, all right. You guys are probably not going to want to watch me do that, and I'm not going to show you all that. You know, it's boring or in hell. So basically, I just take 2 turns there, 2 turns there, 2 turns there, 2 turns there is 1%. So I'm going to take 4 turns, 4 turns, 4 turns, 4 turns, and that'll make 2%. And I'm not even going to pull the scales out to do that, but I just know that that's what my race car takes. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. And then other than that, I'm going to go ahead and start this thing up and let it do a heat cycle. And then we'll take this thing outside and wash and clean it up, and I'll be ready to go. So I'm actually ahead of the ball game for this Saturday night. So can you tell I'm excited? I'm excited to go racing, really am. So really excited to get my butt back in the driver's seat. So all right, let's get some more pressure in this thing and hear this thing run right quick. Okay, oh boy. I did not open the doors or anything, so I've not let this thing run that long, but boy, it sure does smell good in here. That race fuel. But anyway, hey, you can tell by the smile on my face, I get excited when I hear this thing run. So this is my baby. I've had this thing for some time, and this car is probably, I'm guessing 25, 30 years old. I did not build it. Another guy had built it, and I think I'm the 3rd owner of it, but I've had it for some time, since 2014. I think I ended up purchasing it, so I've had it about 9 years. Won quite a few races in it, and the other fella before me won a lot of races in it. But anyway, you know, I got to get better. Got big shoes to fill for sure. His name's Robbie Storer, and he's probably the best mod mini racer that has ever come along. So anyway, all right, so pretty much done with the race car there. So starter worked out pretty good. I'm gonna let it ride out until JR up at Napa can get me a new one, and I think it'll be okay for this weekend. Wanted to replace that cable, got that done, got all that button back up where we got tech the last race, and so I'm going to go ahead and do all that setup stuff that I was just telling you about, and then I'm going to put this thing down. I'm going to take it outside and wash it, and I think it's ready to roll out. So all right, as always, guys, it's going to be a short video, and not really exciting, I know, but just try to give you guys an update of what's going on and what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that stuff done, get them turns put in this thing, get this thing on the ground, and wash it. And so I'm ready to go for Saturday night. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching our videos, and thank you for the support. And we are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. I think last time I checked it was 941, 942, something like that. Hey, that's pretty important to me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys. Until next time, we'll see you.